Several people have been arrested on weapons charges in Rosamond. Before noon on Tuesday, a burglary was reported at the Dollar General on Rosamond Boulevard. Suspects who reportedly stole $144 worth of laundry detergent were found at a home on Diamond Street. 3 men were arrested after guns, including AK-47s, were found. A recent decision by the Bakersfield City Council to rename 8th Street in honor of the late Cesar Chavez has some celebrating, others expressing concern. 3 members of the council, Zach Bashertash, Ken Weir, and Larry Coman, voted against the change. Councilman Bashertash said they need to find a way to make this work without hurting local businesses. He highlighted their concerns, including inconvenience to employees and delivery errors due to outdated maps. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Let them think you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody. And a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. A little close there, Dawson. Yeah, we don't want to get this close to. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'll get it. Those of you viewing who subscribed on YouTube, and in fact, I was checking last night, we've exceeded 300 subscribers. Appreciate the love. Tell friends. I got a little wager with Mr. Burdick that we'll get to 1,000 by, I can't remember what our deadline was, but we're 700 away. Continue to tell friends. Appreciate the love. We got a busy show on this Thursday. One of the biggest stories, really, of the country, but it emanates from our state redistricting fight. Texas has done Mr. Trump's bidding and raised 5 Republican seats there. And now Gavin Newsom, which really has nothing to do with the legislature, really has nothing to do with Congress, really is all about him running for president in 28, him positioning himself as a guy who's going to take on Donald Trump, and I'm going to get the bully and I'm going to look out. And I think he put something on TikTok. It's on, Texas. Come on, give it a break. We'll get into that a little bit. And the Menendez hearing. Where is Dawson? Are you there? I can't see the glare. Keep your eyes on the Menendez trial. Just punch in Eric Menendez and see what pops up, because the parole board is expected. The hearing is today at some point, and they're going to make a decision today on the fate of Eric and therefore Lyle, on whether they should be paroled. And if they do say yes, it ain't over. It's still up to Newsom, who, in my opinion, is never going to let them out of jail for the very reasons that he's doing this legislative mix-up. He wants to run for president, and letting out 2 people that killed their parents may work in Los Angeles and liberal California, but it ain't going to work in the swing states. When you have to defend in a debate, because, you know, in the primary debate or in the general election debate, which I don't think he'll get to, but somebody will bring it up. Somebody will bring it up. I certainly would if I was running against him. Let me get this straight, Governor. A 21 and a 19-year-old premeditatedly go down to San Diego, buy shotguns, set up a ridiculous alibi, and shoot their parents in the knees, shoots the father 6 times, the final shot in the back of the head. The mother, Kitty, was shot in the knees, in the upper torso, and yet still lived. So what did Eric and Lyle do? They ran out to the driveway. They got some more ammo out of the trunk, came back and shot her in the face. Shot their mother in the face. So, Governor, in this debate, I'm asking you, you think that was a really good idea to let those two go? Really? I just don't see it. I'll unpack that for you. It's Thursday, so Mike Turnipseed will be here at 4 o'clock, and we'll talk money with Daniel Petrie. And there's a gargantuan case going on in Illinois where a 6'4" biological male who never played volleyball in his life, made the Conant High School volleyball team. He's 6'4". And as you can imagine, heads are collectively exploding, particularly the girls that didn't make the club. And this is really what this transgender fight is all about. By allowing biological males to play in female sports, they're taking up spots that these guys, these ladies, would normally have. And that's what Title IX was all about, giving these females an opportunity to participate. I told you the story of a girl that I went to college with here at Cal State who was an all-star basketball player in this town, and she goes to her local college. She can't play basketball. Didn't have a basketball program in the 90s. And so that was what Title IX was all about, to give ladies like that an opportunity to play the sports that they played in high school. And now, by allowing some 6'4" dude, never played volleyball in his life. Never played volleyball in his life. And now he's on the girls' team as a biological male. And, of course, walking through their locker room. And they're defying the president's executive order. And, of course, it's in Illinois. That's where their governor is also trying to run for president. So good. Be on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. Talk about that a little bit. And good googly moogly. Did we dodge a bullet yesterday? Did you guys watch the ball game? The Dodgers lost the second of the 3 games against Colorado. They're kicking their butt now. Last I checked, I think it was 9-5. But Shohei Ohtani had his back-to-back horrible outing. But the bullet we dodged was a line drive that hit Shohei in the thigh. And I'm just saying, if it hits him in the knee, it's not his season that's over. It's the Dodger season that's over. I really think Shohei is that important in the lineup that we can't win a World Series without him. We can't win a World Series without him, without Mookie, or without Fred. Because the bottom of our lineup is still hitting in the hundreds. Freeland got a couple of base hits today, I saw, but he's still in the 100s. The other kid that we got, I think his name is Kennedy, the third baseman, he's hitting in the hundreds. If we call up Outman, he wasn't even hitting 100. And Michael Conforto got a double today, but he's hitting in the hundreds. You can't have regular players in a lineup hitting hundreds. Get into that. And Skip Bayless. Remember him with Fox Sports? You may remember or may not remember, he was being sued for sexual harassment, and it seems to be a settlement. He was accused by the hairstylist at Fox of making advances towards him, and she claims he offered her $1.5 million to have sex. So, Dawson, that is our cue of the D. $1.5 million for one sexual experience? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'd have sex with a fat girl for $1.5 million. 1.5, that's life-changing. I guess it gets back, what's that movie with Robert Redford and Woody Harrelson, The Proposal? But that's different. She was married. But $1.5 million? How do you report that to the IRS? I mean, you're in a new tax bracket. You got to report that money. And how do you report it? Skip Bayless gave it to me because let me shut up. But it involves Joy Taylor and a former Fox executive. So we'll unpack that for you as well. And there's news about Hulk Hogan. He might not have died of natural causes or a heart attack or whatever they said it was. It may have been a surgical issue. We'll kind of delve into that a little bit. And perhaps right now, because it's 6:12 on the East Coast, the President of the United States is essentially going on a ride-along with some of the patrol officers tonight. So this ought to be interesting. It's a brilliant, brilliant move. It's an absolute win-win, as long as he survives. But it's an absolute win-win. We'll get into that. But in fact, I've run out of time. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll get into the legislation. Kevin McCarthy was on. He's back in the news now. I've seen him on a couple of shows the last couple of days because he's found something to do. He is going to try to raise money to fight this gerrymandering effort by Gavin Newsom. There's another group being led by Charles Muncer, who's willing to spend $100 million to fight this thing. I think we have a chance to stave this thing off. I really do. People are extremely happy with the commission that we established, back in, I think it was 2011? 61%, meaning Republicans and Democrats voted in favor of this, and reports are that the polls are even higher. Why mess with this thing? I'll tell you what Mr. McCarthy had to say, including the fact that he projects that in 2030, the next census, we're going to lose 4 more seats. How can a guy run for governor when Bed Bath & Beyond, In-N-Out, all these companies are leaving California, all these people are leaving California? We've never experienced that in my lifetime. Never. We were always the land of milk and honey. Now we're the land of ordinances and obstacles to get into business, and high taxes and insufficient or ineffective government. The fires, the floods, this. What has Gavin Newsom accomplished? Can anybody tell me? And I'm going to put a local friend on blast in regarding to Gavin Newsom. I'll explain when we come back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday. And by the way, I'm feeling so much better. Thanks. I got a couple of text messages and some folks in the chat room. And even Lisa came over and was like, "You did not look good." Yeah, I was hurting yesterday, but I feel a whole lot better. My foot's a whole lot better. And I have a appointment with local podiatrist. See what the hell is going on with my feet. That's right, feet. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
Got battery issues?
It's much better.
Name and power. A1
Much better.
battery.
Thank you.
We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus,
No.
get free
I was saying
installation with
some other
any
cameras, but
purchase.
better.
First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Vivian Rushing.
Hi, my name is Vivian Rushing. I am a client of Paul Sheldon. They helped me get everything in order. I had no clue what I was doing, and they were wonderful. The staff is amazing. Lynn and Kelly go out of their way to make you feel comfortable when you walk through the doors and make sure you have everything that you need. Paul is very accommodating. He uses himself as an example to help you understand the process of the insurance and what benefits you should be looking at and what you shouldn't be looking at and how to go about getting it together. I have recommended Paul Sheldon. Just a couple of days ago, I was in line to get my medications, and
Dawson,
the gentleman was talking
anything
about
on Menendez?
and didn't know what to do.
Anything
So
on Menendez?
contact Paul Sheldon, he's the best. I just want to say
No?
thank you, Paul Sheldon. You're wonderful, and your staff is amazing.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. So don't wait. For this free information, call 800-422-8552. 800-422-8552. That's 800-422-8552. Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Be able to do what Texas is doing. And if you're saying, well, of course they could, Ralph, why, if Texas can do it, why can't California do it? Well, because we voted, and it's in our Constitution, that a commission, a panel, will decide the districts. So Newsom, in an attempt to position himself as the nominee and heir apparent to Donald Trump, just said, screw it. I'm just going to do it. And absolutely violate the Constitution, absolutely violate the will of the people. As I said, 61% of the voters voted in favor of this commission panel that we established back in 2011. And everyone's happy with it. Everyone's happy with it. The good news is a host of powerful Republicans, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I believe was governor at the time that we created this commission, are going to spend a ton of money fighting this thing. McCarthy said he was on CNN this morning, and he said he's with a group called Right Path. And as you all know, if there's anything on this planet that Kevin McCarthy does well, that's raise money. And he's going to raise a ton of money in this fight. And as I said, Schwarzenegger is involved, and a man by the name of Charles Monser, and I should know who he is, and I should have looked him up before the show. He is alone throwing in $100 million to fight this thing and to get the message out to moderate Democrats and obviously the entire Republican Party that this just isn't right. What was the point of us voting and creating this panel and trying to be fair as we possibly could be? Now, obviously, they are going after about 5 or 6 seats that include Kevin Kaiser, Daryl Issa, and David Valdeo. I heard David Valdeo on 17 either last night or this morning, and he was saying that his district doesn't really change that much. It goes a little bit farther north, and then it goes more into Fresno, but he feels very confident where that district and the adding district that they would put in his new 22nd carried Trump by 6 points and by 2 points again last year. So he feels comfortable that he can still stave this off. And again, he's got Jasmine Baines as his opponent. And one of the fortunate things for David is the Democrats have never put anybody up worth really giving him a shot other than TJ Cox, the one time he defeated David and the 5 times that he's won. And TJ Cox ended up being a criminal, and a very strange cat. I can tell you, there's a great Silver Fox story the night that he won. I don't know what he was doing in Bakersfield the night that he won, TJ Cox. But one of the bartenders told me a great story that I wish I could tell you. And one day, you know me, no Edit Bailey. I probably end up telling you before the show's over. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I don't think we should let Gavin Newsom get away with this thing. Just saying, screw the Constitution. Screw the California Constitution. We're going to do it. Screw the will of the people. And then do, again, what we are trying not to do, and that is to allow the elected officials to select their voters. Now, somewhere I read it's supposed to be the opposite. The voters are supposed to select their elected officials, not the elected officials creating their own constituents. And, I asked the dumb question, or maybe the simpleton question of either Teresa Golder or Kathy Abernathy. Gerrymandering, it's a man by the name of Jerry. It was in Boston, 1900s or even 1800s, 19th century. Why have we put up with this for hundreds of years? Why? And particularly now with AI, I think it was Teresa who said she doesn't feel comfortable with AI creating our districts, but why not? Completely nonpartisan, I would think. And again, I think Teresa's point, the judge's point was AI can only do what the inputter puts in. All right, so you have 2 judges, a Republican and a Democratic judge, input whatever you have to input to balance out these districts. I think that's the only way to go about it. But we have to fight this. We can't let Gavin Newsom get away with this. Just violating the Constitution just to put himself in a position for the presidency. And there was another interesting note in Mr. McCarthy's appearance today on CNN. Dana Bash, just casually in the middle of a sentence said, one of the reasons you lost your speakership is you tried to make a deal with Democrats, and that's why this majority is so important, boop, 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 boop. And Kevin, who's a very smart man, obviously, you don't rise to become speaker if you're not a smart person. I don't think he's an intellect. I don't think he's smarter than smart, but he's incredibly politically savvy. He would almost have to be, the many years he spent. And he said, no, the reason that I lost my speakership was because Matt Gaetz had sex with a teenage girl, and I wouldn't kill the ethics report. Well, there's some truth to that, but I can't wait till Tuesday to talk to the judge. Isn't that defamation? Now, I totally believe him. I totally believe Matt Gaetz had sex with a teenage girl. Totally believe it. But he hasn't been convicted. And so Dana Bash came back and said exactly that. Just for the record, Matt Gaetz has not been held accountable for the alleged sex with a teenager. And Mr. McCarthy said, well, the victim has said that it happened. I'm not sure that's enough to clear you from defamation. I think Gaetz has a defamation suit. Not that he'd do it. And again, it's former congressman, pretty hard to win a defamation suit, no matter who you are. But for McCarthy to go on air and say Gaetz is a pedophile, I'd sue him. But as Ali said, we don't get it on because we don't get along. But I'd sue his ass. I really would. Quick time out. We head into the back half of the hour. We'll talk about the Menendez hearing. Eric's wife. Yes, he has a wife. She testified today. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court is letting the Trump administration cut nearly $800 million in health research funding in its anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion push. The ruling was 5-4, with Chief Justice John Roberts joining the court's liberals in dissenting. The court joined the Trump administration in saying the funds would promote gender ideology extremism. California lawmakers have passed legislation advancing a partisan redistricting plan that could help Democrats win 5 more U.S. House seats in 2026. Lawmakers voted mostly along party lines on Thursday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 152 points, the Nasdaq dropping 72. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A Caltrans worker was injured in a hit and run, and the suspect has been arrested. At around 12:45 Wednesday afternoon, CHP answered the call about the hit and run crash on Highway 178 near Canebrake Road. Investigators say a signage truck was escorting westbound traffic through the area when a 2021 Ford Ranger passed all traffic, including the signage truck, and struck the worker. A 2021 Ford Ranger passed all traffic and struck the worker. Joshua Michael Thomas of Kernville was later caught and arrested. Several people have been arrested on weapons charges in Rosamond. Suspects who reportedly stole $144 worth of laundry detergent were found and arrested at a home on Diamond Street. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Have you ever been to the Stockyard? Right next door to KC Steakhouse. It's a great way to either start or end your evening or even just have dinner in there. They have craft cocktails, live music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And Cassie has a beautiful banquet room for meetings, parties. I know Kathy Abernathy often uses it for election night parties where they watch debates or the polls come in, whatever. And of course, I don't have to tell you about KC Steakhouse. You guys voted them best steakhouse in the recent Bakersfield, California poll. And I always like to remind you that the menu is completely expanded, that if you go with a large group, as many of you do to celebrate birthdays or anniversaries, not everybody has to have red meat. Chef Daniel's done a wonderful job with the lobster mac and cheese, the different fish dishes, even some Italian dishes like the fettuccine Alfredo that's got me limping around Kern County. Where would you rather be than on F Street? KC Steakhouse.
Join the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce at the 28th Annual Hispanic Business Conference and Expo on Thursday, August 28th, 1 to 7 at the DoubleTree by Hilton. Kern County business owners and the community are invited for a day of business workshops, exhibitors, a VIP beauty bar, networking, and more. Free admission tickets are available for download at kchcc.org. Expand your professional network on August 28th at the DoubleTree by Hilton, presented by the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Alta One Federal Credit, Anthem, Adventist Health, Jim Burke Ford, and QualCare.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.
Having store past mysterious.
You know why I think I hate them? Not that I necessarily want to be married, but I'm just a little bit older than the Menendezes. I'm a decent looking fella. I was much better looking when I was younger. Here I am, a single man. And these two killed their parents, could end up dying in prison as old men, and they're both married. You see why I watch Love After Lockup tomorrow night, every Friday, 8 o'clock? Just saying, it's real. How does a woman marry a man in prison? Period. Stop right there. Let alone a man in prison who premeditatedly, viciously, with a shotgun, punished and killed their parents. That's one thing I don't think we think about a lot when we examine the murder. They punished their parents. They wanted it to make look like a mafioso hit. So they shot them both in their knees. That was the first shot. Then they shot them in the back. Then Eric took the shotgun and put it to the base of his father's head and blew it off. They're out of shells. Kitty, the mother, is crawling on the ground. They go outside to their Beverly Hills driveway, open up the trunk of their Porsche, get some more shells, and put it in Kitty's face. How could you lay down with a man like that? How could you make love? How could you hug? How could you say, I love you to a man that took a shotgun to the base of his father's skull and blew off his mother's face? See, they were trying to ask that question. They were trying to create that question. Oh, they couldn't have done that. What 19-year-old could shoot off his mama's face? It couldn't have been them. It had to be the mom. And then on top of that, let us not forget that after the shooting, do you know how much money they spent? Until LAPD came. We're here to see Eric and Lyle. Until they put the claps on them, you know how much money they spent? $700,000. Boy, that sounds like two kids trying to get over their parents' murder, boy. $700,000. They held parties in the Beverly Hills mansion. They bought cars. Hell, Lyle took tennis lessons. He was playing tennis at Princeton. Took his parents' money. And did you know this? Did you know this? That they went into the computer, because computers back in the 90s were as basic and as simple as those old calculators we used to have in the 80s. Destroyed the will. Destroyed the will. Don't tell me this was self-defense, because again, you have to remember, in this hearing today, Eric will say it was self-defense. They are still maintaining that Jose and Kitty were going to kill their children. Jose was a big time, not celebrity, but in the world of the music industry, he was extremely well known. And the reason they tried to make it into a mafioso hit is because he did business with the mafia. I told you I went to high school with a kid named Brett Alestriana. He's the kid that whenever Chris or Dawson play that Leonard Skinner song where it says, whiskey bottle, brand new cars, oak tree, you're in my way. Brett Alis's dad had the sweetest white Continental Cadillac. I don't know, one of those big long Cadillacs that you see in Texas. The guy's got the horns on the front of the car. It was a bit long with the red. I think it was a red interior. It was a convertible, and it's like Ferris Bueller, where you don't touch the car, don't ever touch the car, don't ever touch the car. Well, Ailes was told never to touch the car, and he snuck it out one afternoon, sober as a judge, and they lived on a high hill in really nice part of Encino, at the top of the hill, and he's coming out of the drive, pulls out of the driveway, and he's coming down the hill, and I think their cat or their dog or something was in the back seat, and as he's coming down the hill, he turned, and you know, when you turn, unless you just turn your head, you turn your body, and he just absolutely took out an oak tree in his own block. Ruined his father's Cadillac about 5 houses down from his own house. I digress. His father was connected, absolutely connected, and he was good friends with Jose Menendez. So they were all mafiosos, because I stole this from Victor Victoria. You ever seen that picture? James Garner and Julie Andrews, where Julie Andrews plays she's a woman playing a man playing a woman. I'm not kidding. It's her husband's movie, Blake Edwards. And she's a woman pretending to be a real man, but the man is pretending to be transgender. And James Garner doesn't buy it and falls in love with her, even though she continues to say, I'm a man. And there's a great scene where Garner's like, I don't give a damn if you are a man. And just hugs her up and kisses, and their affair starts. But there's a great scene. They're laying in bed, and she says, well, you're kind of a mafioso. And he's like, no, I don't. I just do business with the mob. And she says, Blake Edwards' line, any man that does business with the mafia and doesn't think he's a mafioso is an idiot. And so I always consider these guys mafiosos. I'll be honest with you. I was always scared to death of Mr. Ailes. He was a big man with white hair, and he just had one of those charismatic personalities. And I did not like going over that house. I really didn't. He was a very intimidating guy. And they were pals with the Menendezes. And the idea that Kitty and Jose were going to kill them is about as dumb a thing. And that's why Nate Hochman, the new DA in Los Angeles, is absolutely not buying it, not going to sign off on it. He wrote yesterday, please stand by. We have consistently opposed their release because they have not demonstrated full insight into their crimes or shown that they have been fully rehabilitated. And as I said, somebody on this radio station, and it wasn't JR and it wasn't me, said that they've been great prisoners in jail. One of them got their college degree, and they both got married and blah, blah, blah. Lyle got married and got divorced, but Eric's with him. They got married in 1999. Like, what is the point of getting married to a man in jail and being loyal and faithful to him for 26 years? So I think her testimony is going to fall on deaf ears, because she just wants her man home. That's all she wants. She doesn't want justice. She wants her husband home. But in terms of Lyle and Eric being wonderful inmates, this is out of the Los Angeles Times. The parole board can also consider any violations of CDCR rules in the brothers' files, and some recent alleged slip-ups by Eric and Lyle have raised the eyebrows of legal experts. Quote, they have serious rule violations, including fights, including not coming in from the yards when they were told to. That doesn't sound that bad, but it can be, depends on what they were doing in the yard, said Nancy Tutrault, who successfully represented Leslie Van Houten, a devout follower of Charles Manson, before the parole board in 2023. Tutrault also problematic for the parole board. Quote, it's a violation, she said. Why? Because that is the connection to criminality outside of prison. We've always heard how mobsters, heads of the family, continue to run the family from prison. Well, how do you think they do it? With a cell phone. Both Gorin and Teralt said it is unlikely that the board would render different decisions each day, given they are accused of the same crime. The results of Eric would end up being the results of Lyle. Lyle's hearing is tomorrow, but like they said in the LA Times article, whatever they determine this afternoon, and it is going to be this afternoon, we'll find out before the end of the show, is what will be Lyle's fate as well. And then it's up to presidential candidate Gavin Newsom to either be the tough guy that can win the swing states, or is he going to be the woke liberal who allowed two men who drove, let's go over it again, who got in their cars from Beverly Hills, drove all the way to San Diego to purchase, not handguns, to make it real simple and quick. No, they went to San Diego to purchase shotguns, came back, laid in wait, and as their parents were eating ice cream, watching television, in fear of their life, fear that Jose might put down that black walnut ice cream and grab a gun and kill him, they had to act first. That's what they maintain to this day. And if premeditatedly murdering your parents can't keep you in jail for the rest of your life, that we as a society can't say, you just don't belong for murdering your parents, then what does deserve life in prison? You've killed the people that brought you into this life. You've killed the people that sent you to the best schools in Los Angeles. You were raised in one of the finest neighborhoods in the country, if not on the planet. Now, I don't buy the sexual abuse thing. I really don't. Either they were sexually abused or they're idiots. Like, I get being 12, 11, maybe even 13 and putting up with dad sneaking in the room. I get it. But 21 and 19? I'm sorry. I love my dad to death. I had a dream about him last night. His birthday was Sunday. And if he was stooping me, molesting me, 11, 12, 13, I'm taking it. But 19? Come on, Ralph. Not tonight, buddy. Let's go. Me and you. You might whoop my ass, but you ain't getting in my ass. Let's go. Right now. Are you kidding? Or I'd have gone to Irvin, my Uncle Irvin. I'd have gone to my Uncle Charles. I'd have gone to somebody in the family and say, you're not going to believe this, but I'm in trouble. Dad ain't right. They never did that. They never reached out to anybody. And you're telling me at 21 and 19, they were just bending over and taking it from dad? Give me a break. Give me a freaking break. They got a mistrial out of the first trial, and the judge smartly said, I'm not going to include all this nonsense about the sexual abuse. And that's when they were convicted in please stand by, 96. And then 3 years later, Eric got married to Tammy. How in the world do you marry a guy based on letters, based on no interaction, no dinners, no lunches, no let's sit down and talk? Just, I'm telling you, and I'm trying to turn you on to a Dawson pitcher, by the way, is filling in for Chris today and tomorrow. But you're a young guy. You're out on a Friday night, aren't you? Love After Lockup, Dawson. Telling you, it's a fascinating show. And it's spilling out right here before our eyes. They both got married. Life is a kick in the head, isn't it? Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, there is I can't even believe I'm talking about this, but it's in the news. Cracker Barrel patrons are livid No, Cracker Barrel didn't change the menu. They didn't change the decor. They changed their logo. I'm not kidding. The logo used to be an old white guy leaning on a Cracker Barrel, and it just said Cracker Barrel. Well, they've removed the old white guy in the barrel, and people's heads are exploding. Not making that up. Insisting that is a woke movement. I've eaten a lot of different places, but I don't think I've ever chosen a restaurant based on its logo. Don't think I have. But that's what a lot of people are talking about. Then Mike Termseed will join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk money with Daniel Petrie. And I'll tell you about that case in Illinois of a 6'4" biological male who had never played volleyball in his life. And he just made the volleyball team in Illinois, obviously taking the spot of a young woman that would have made the team. We'll talk about that. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Marilyn Bull.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Bull. I heard of Paul Sheldon through my husband. So when I retired, I decided I'm going to go to him too. And I'm very pleased. The experience with Paul Sheldon has been great. Every question you asked, he had an answer for. He was patient and explained everything to where you could understand it. So I'm glad I had him to go to, because otherwise I would be confused. I would recommend Paul Sheldon to anybody because it is so much easier to go there and have someone actually show you and explain to you what your options are. And when you leave there, if you still didn't quite understand, you can always call and
you got any text messages
with you and rediscuss the whole thing.
You have any
I
text
also
messages?
have recommended it to my sister. Thank you, Paul Sheldon, for all your help, and I wouldn't.
Do you know how to turn it on so you can hear me?
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in
Oh,
credit
Lord.
card debt or personal
What's
loans? With
There
credit
you
card
go.
debt at all-time highs,
Say it
Debt
again?
Relief Advocates is urgently notifying
hear me now?
consumers
Yeah.
of debt relief
Do you
now
have any
being made
text
available,
messages?
designed to aid consumers with
Yeah,
out-of-control
there's-
credit card debt. Those who qualify and
says
enroll for
2/3.
the
No,
relief
just how many
program
are there?
only have to pay back a
Couple?
fraction of what they
All right.
owe. This
I'm gonna
is
read-
not
I'm gonna read
bankruptcy
them
or a
after the
debt
break.
consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in
is
credit
Charles
card debt or
Monser?
personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. So don't wait. For this free information, call 800-422-8552. 800-422-8552. That's 800-422-8552. Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN.
Whiskey bottles, brand new cars, nice. Ooh, you're in my way.
There's too much coke and too much smoke. Look what's going on inside you.
Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? Ooh, that smell. It smells all around you. Yeah. So I have yet to, I don't think I've ever been to a Cracker Barrel. When we used to drive all across the country, we drove when I was a little boy from New York to LA, and we drove before Pop was making any money. We used to drive when we would go visit my grandparents. We would drive our old Oldsmobile across the country for the summer. And we used to stop at Stuckey's. Do you guys remember Stuckey's? All I remember about Stuckey's is that they had that like Payday. It was like a caramel bar with peanuts surrounding it. That's all I remember about Stuckey's. But they were all over the country. I don't think I've ever been to a Cracker Barrel. Have you done Cracker Barrel here in town yet, Dawson?
Not in town. I've had it once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I pass it by coming to work every day, and 2:30, it looks pretty packed. And that's kind of the off hour. That's like after lunch and before dinner, but it's parking lot's pretty full. But again, they've changed their logo, and many of the patrons are upset and crying and saying that it's some kind of woke movement. And come on now, this isn't the Budweiser thing. That was totally woke, and that was totally trying to create a whole new audience for Budweiser, and it failed miserably. But this isn't as bad as the jeans commercial where they compared to the Third Reich and jeans and all that nonsense. But it's pretty stupid. Because like I said, I have never, ever chosen a restaurant based on its logo or its change of logo. And I don't see the wokeness. Why? Because they took the old white guy out of it? Or the Cracker Barrel? Does that represent something that's not woke? I don't get it. I really don't. I'm so confused at this point in my life, because when I don't get things like this, I wonder, am I just out of step? Am I just old? Am I just yearning for the 20th century? I rented some audio last night where they did highlights of 1977 and just made a comparison to life in the 20th century to now. And I was like, I'd give anything for it to be 1977. Even if I was this age, just life was so much better and so much simpler. And, we weren't wearing seatbelts. I think by 77 we were wearing seatbelts, but kids didn't wear helmets on their bikes. And I guess life has improved. I'm not so sure. I'm really not. Maybe I'll ask that of Mr. Turnipseed, because Dawson knows nothing of the 20th century, neither does Burdick. So can't ask them. But it just seems like, I think movie tickets were like $2.50. So what was the matinee? Like $1? I think ground round beef was like 77 cents a pound. It was just, and I'm not even talking about just prices. I just think life was, we didn't have school shootings. No biological male thought he was a girl. Just, I don't know. I think I'm right. I think I'm just old. People actually sat down and had dinner together. Children actually spoke to their parents instead of looking at their phones throughout dinner. Just think life was better. I really do. We head into the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Turnipseed joins us next. And at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk money with Daniel Petrie. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1180, KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
This is AM 1180 KERN, Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM, Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court is letting the Trump administration cut nearly $800 million in health research funding in its anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion push. The ruling was 5-4, with Chief Justice John Roberts joining the court's liberals in dissenting. The court joined the Trump administration in saying the funds would promote gender ideology extremism. Dr. James Dobson, the founder of Focus on the Family, has passed away. He was 89 years of age.
Dr. Dobson was a pillar of the evangelical community for decades and one of the best-known Christian broadcasters of all time. He was also an advisor to presidents, a best-selling author, and a trained psychologist. Gary Bauer of the James Dobson Family Institute says, quote, Dr. Dobson was a pioneer, a man of deep conviction whose voice shaped the way generations view family, faith, and culture, unquote. George Williams reporting.
The U.S. and European Union have announced some details of their trade deal, including tariff rates. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
According to a joint statement from both sides, the U.S.-EU trade deal imposes a 15% import tax on most European goods exported to the U.S. And those goods will include pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. That's noteworthy because President Trump had threatened tariffs on.
Are you joining us, Mr. Turnipseed?
As high as 250%. The trade document is a first step as the two sides continue talks about wine, spirits, and steel. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Villanova University's president says reports of a campus shooter that sent students scrambling was a cruel hoax. On Wall Street, the Dow Down
mine is
52 points. The Nasdaq dropped 7.
I just turned it off.
More at townhall.com.
Where's your mic? Your mic's right here.
Where's the little one? Right there.
That's it. Oh, Mike, I don't know what to do.
Oh, what?
My feet. The gout moved
Get off
in.
of talking about Melendez. We all heard enough of that.
What are you talking about? My health?
No, Menendez.
Oh. Well, the hearings
Talk
today.
about your bunions and sore feet. That's more interesting.
Yeah, is that shot okay? Oh, a shot's not okay. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's perfect. The hearings today. We're going to find out whether they're going to get out of jail. What do you mean?
Do you really think
that they're going to get out?
That Michael Turnipseed cares if he gets out or not?
Well, I think the big issue is Newsom. What's Newsom going to do?
What can he do if they get out?
He has the final say. If they say yes, it's still up to Newsom, just like Sirhan Sirhan. They said yes about Sirhan Sirhan, and he put the kibosh on it.
Well, because he killed Kennedy.
Damn right. I don't think he did it alone, but I don't think he did it alone.
Who?
Sirhan Sirhan.
No, he didn't.
Look at my ankle.
Yes. It looks deformed.
It is deformed. And I just don't know. Should I go see Echeverry? What can a podiatrist do?
A podiatrist?
Yeah, what can he do? I hear there's a shot that he could give me.
The best podiatrist in town is Tom Nelson.
I think it's Etch. No?
Tom's been around a long time. He knows it. You and him could talk for 3 hours.
Why?
Old guy. His doc was in town for like 40 years, and he's a doc. And
I don't like old doctors.
well, he's not. He's
I like middle-aged
my age.
doctors.
He's dealing with your feet, not your heart.
True.
Although my surgeon that I had did my heart, he had to be in his 60s. He'd done 5,000 surgeries. Come on. How many can you do a week?
Terry Goldner. She is so funny. Look at the message she just sent me.
For what?
I think about
Looks like she cut and pasted it.
hi, I was listening to your show in the car when you asked why women marry men in prison. Here's what IA says. Many women who marry prison inmates have a psychological condition called hybristophilia. That is a psychological term referring to a sexual or romantic attraction to individuals who have committed serious crimes such as murder, robbery, or other violent acts. Often described as paraphilia, it involves deriving emotional or sexual gratification from the knowledge of a person's criminal behavior. Wow.
Yeah, see, she's good for something.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday, 21st day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KER. And speaking of the date and the Menendezes, Mike Turnipseed tells me I shouldn't be talking about. Nobody cares. No, nobody's talking about. The anniversary was yesterday. They were killed August 20th, 1989. Just a little fact I thought I'd throw out there. Daniel Petrie will join us at the bottom of the hour, but in the meantime, it is a Thursday. Hit Mike's music. Did they tell you what Mike's music is? Well, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Dawson Pitcher, our new producer, is Scott's new producer. Are you doing Scott's show every day? By yourself? Nice. I heard he calls you Billy. What the hell's that about? So he calls you Billy?
That's what old people do. You're getting
he is old. He's just, I think, a year or two younger than I am, so he's definitely old.
Well, then he's pretty young.
I'm old, Michael. I'm
I'm
old.
10 years older than you are. So
And you are older.
that's right.
And now I walk like an old man. You know, I was
It
so
gets
embarrassed.
worse.
I was so embarrassed. I had a bad yesterday. And I was using my old putter as a cane. And I was so embarrassed. I had my Uber pull into the alley and I went into my house from the back because I just didn't want my neighbors to see me hobbling in like a 63-year-old man that's body's like 73. Just so stupid. So stupid.
It only gets worse, Ralph.
I know. That's what's scary. I still feel like I'm fairly vital and young and wanted to spend the whole summer playing golf. I haven't played golf in 2 months. 2 months. I had a tee time with you, but you weren't going to go anyway. And I had a couple tee times with Zucchini. I felt like I was okay. And then in the morning, I'd get up and no, not
Maybe you need a new bed.
a new bed.
Yeah, maybe you're not
I need a
sleeping
new,
right.
I need a new diet, and I just can't figure out unless it was that span where I was eating bacon a lot.
Oh, bacon, no.
Yeah, and fettuccine Alfredo, the Alfredo sauce. Yeah, that's why I have no one to blame but myself. So I haven't had
salads, Ralph. Salads.
and I've stopped drinking.
That's good.
Yeah, but I cheated Saturday. I've had like maybe 5 drinks in 2 months.
I did the January thing, and I drank going out, so I drank twice when we were out. So
Yeah.
I said I'm breaking the rules.
It's no fun anymore. It used to be fun to get all drunk. It's no fun anymore.
It's never fun to get drunk. Fun to get drunk.
I thought it was fun.
The
You
next
know,
morning, you wake up feeling not bad. I'm good.
that's why it's no fun because now if I have 3 or 4 drinks, I have a hangover. I have a full-blown hangover, 3 or 4 drinks. Back in the day, 3 or 4 drinks I'd have before dinner. Before dinner, Michael.
If I had 3 or 4 drinks, I'd be asleep.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
put me to sleep.
I think we're doing that to the audience right now. What's really going on? You got anything specific you want to talk about?
Well, what do you want to talk about? We can talk about how everybody's getting just madder at the city by the day. This California Avenue is just a disaster.
Disaster. What are they doing? Just repaving it?
They're taking it down. It's like 6 inches, and they're putting 2 layers of asphalt, each one about 3 inches on top of one another. And they're redoing it. They're completely rebuilding the road, basically. And that's one of the better roads in town. I haven't figured out why they're doing that yet, unless they want to put a lot of green paint on it. They wanted to fix the road before they painted it green.
What, the bike paths?
Are we going to have 3 lanes, or are we going to have 2 lanes and bike paths? That's a big question.
Yeah. Why is this city so badly run? Seriously. You know?
Well, it all starts with ideas of the council. The council set policy and make policy and spend the money, approve the budget. So a majority of the council has to make a decision on virtually every project, because you have to approve everything. You know, it's in the budget. You go to hearings. You do these things. So everybody has different priorities.
What do you think of the change of 8th Street?
It's not needed. It's going to be $1 million for, unless they pay. Now, Fresno, when they renamed their street Cesar Chavez, paid $1 million for everybody's expenses. Everybody got
for the businesses that had to change
their expenses. It's new letterhead. It's new this. It's new that. You got to buy everything new. Change the signage on your building. All those things.
Yeah.
If the city steps up, that will go a long way. Going and talking to all the neighbors and all the businesses and saying, okay, what kind of signage do you need? What do you do? We're going to do that for you.
Silly.
If they don't, then it's just typical self-gratification, I guess.
What are your thoughts on Cesar Chavez? Was he a Latino Martin Luther King, or was he a rebel rouser, as many farmers here locally believe?
The first days, the first strike really was by a guy named Larry Itleon in Delano.
Yeah.
The Filipinos. They went out first. And then the Hispanics followed. Cesar, if I remember correctly, was in San Jose. He was a union organizer in San Jose and got set down by somebody to start organizing in Delano.
Yeah.
AFL-CIO or whatever he was doing.
I met him when I was interning at CNN, and I was just following along with a reporter, and he interviewed him for about half an hour. I got to meet him.
Yeah. But that's what you do, you know. The Teamsters had their leaders, Walter Reuther and all those guys, and you become a very prominent person, especially because this movement was basically a decade behind the African American movement.
Right.
And they had Martin Luther King, so the Hispanics had to have somebody, a la Cesar Chavez.
Right.
And his sidekick, Dolores. It was part of the movement.
Who the city just gave $300,000 to.
Yeah.
Or to her son, or to the foundation.
To pay for improvements around some street improvements, stuff that needed to be done.
Yeah.
That street was pretty raunchy.
It is. It's right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, it's pretty raunchy, pretty bad shape. Those vacant lots have been there for 50 years? Maybe they're vacant. Maybe they've been vacant since the earthquake, 52. It could be 73 years.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really have a problem with it.
No, I mean, they want to put it there and build it. But, you know, if you're building anything new in the west side of town, developers have to pay for everything.
Right.
They have to pay for the streets. They have to pay for the sidewalks. They put everything in and they do it. So underwriting some of her costs and not other developers' costs. Do they do that for everybody? But one thing that Andre Gonzalez did was say, oh, this isn't the first time. And he read off like 8 or 9 people who got over $100,000. People that know people say, oh, I know that guy. He doesn't need the money. They don't need the money. You know, you buy you buy the building expecting to have costs to remodel it, especially with these bottles on 19th and 18th. They need a lot of work. If you don't have a big wallet, you better not go and get into a project because there's a lot of buried treasures in old buildings when you start.
Yeah.
You know, you think it's this much and it's going to be 2x that much.
Is it about money or is it about Cesar Chavez?
There are political pressures that Bakersfield's one of the few major cities that doesn't have a Cesar Chavez Boulevard.
Because it's no coincidence that the two white guys on, well, no, there are more white guys, but the two Knowles were two white guys. I don't think that's a coincidence.
No.
Isn't that fair to say? Or am I being unfair to Mr. Weir and Zach?
It's make the city. It had happened in Fresno, and Fresno at least recognized it. And Fresno said, we'll pay the cost of the renaming. The individual taxpayers on that street should not be responsible.
I agree.
You have to change a lot of things. The post office has to rechange a lot. There's a lot of costs involved. It's not a free thing. It's not just putting some signs up for the city.
Right.
Every business, every homeowner, you're going to have to go online, change all your accounts. That takes a long time.
Yeah.
Just think of how many, where you bought things. You order Amazon. I gotta have a new address. So it's Amazon, or maybe it's Macy's, or maybe it's Walmart, or maybe it's. But everybody does things online these days, and they get them shipped to their house because free delivery.
The Padre
Hotel for that they'll have to rename.
What else is the Fox?
Yeah, the Fox is on. They put it on 8th Street, not the side street. You're right.
Yeah.
The
fire department, are they on 8?
No,
technically
they're on the side street. I think
on 20.
Well, there's a front door on 21st. It could be 21st. I think so.
That's okay.
So the city, but you know, that's the city money. They can make that decision.
I have been calling for the ouster. Mike Turnipseed is our guest, executive director of the Kern Tax Association that joins us every Thursday at this time, calling for the heads of DHS. In the wake of Genesis Mata dying, and after 19 years, Michael, they're calling for a review. 19 years. Child welfare services. Nothing really important to the community, you know, just the future of our children. And it's been 19 years since these knuckleheads have said, let's review what we're doing, how we're doing, what we're doing. Come on.
Ralph, I have to choose my words carefully. There are children that die, I'll say, every week.
You're making
say every day.
You're making my point.
Yes, but only when it is so egregious. It has to, you know, the real egregious ones are the ones that get the attention.
That's what I said.
And
that's exactly what I said yesterday.
Exactly. Everybody who's heard the story, or if they saw the pictures, or if they did whatever, they're going, "Oh my God!"
Oh, and
who's watching,
and the public only knows. And I shouldn't be ratting her out, but Lauren Skidmore gave me some facts that the public doesn't know about how badly she was tortured. I don't even feel comfortable telling my audience. I mean, she was tortured.
Absolutely, it's inhuman.
And what is this relationship between the accused killer and the owner of this La Quinta Hotel that allowed him, according to our listeners, now you got to take it with a grain of salt, third party, you know, but that he stayed there for 2 months for free. And before I even heard that, we knew that there was a relationship between the owner and this gangbanger. Why has not the DA's office or BPD or the sheriff's department, whoever that area is, what is that? Is that county or city? Buck Owens Boulevard. I think it's city.
I think it's city.
Yeah.
And it gets west of Buck Owens
Yeah.
County.
So why have they not? Maybe they have. Maybe I just don't know. But why have they not examined the owner of this La Quinta Hotel? Doesn't that make sense? Just to question the guy. What was your relationship with Mr. Mata? No one heard this child screaming, yelling in absolute tortured pain. Who was
Somebody had to hear him.
Thank you. Who was staying next to them? I'd interview the people that were. I'd interview everybody who was staying on that floor. Everybody that was registered to say
Who
that.
was
I don't care if they're in Medford, Oregon. I would fly up to Medford, Oregon, and talk to the people on that floor. You didn't hear anything.
What about the people directly above them?
Or directly below them. Exactly. I would interview all these people, and I don't think any of this has been done.
Well, if it's in the city of Bakersfield, I guess it starts with the police department. And first of all, the DA comes in later when charges
They
are
refer
filed.
it to him, yeah.
It gets referred in the process.
But couldn't they
But
send
so-
a DA investigator?
Because the DA investigates it once
The
they
police
get it.
hand them the case?
They hand them the case. The police investigate to get so far, and then the DA's, you hand it off to the district attorney because they're going to prosecute.
And then they either prosecute or they send it back to you to get more information or they
That's
dismiss
right.
it.
That's right. So the real question should be police chief or the county sheriff.
Yeah.
And ask what's going on here. Well, that's all. If they actually bring in an outside investigator, somebody of reputation and competence that is a known baloney person, is you're gonna get what happened to tell us all what really happened. But then, because this is a court case, you might get those records sealed too.
Yeah.
Rights are great things to have, but they also can be very frustrating sometimes.
Is Cynthia Zimmer going to make a deal with these two, Graciela Bustamante and Mata, or are they going to go for the death penalty?
Who's their defense attorney?
I do not know.
I didn't know if they have it in-house.
I think they have a
Torres.
PD.
They have Torres's daughter?
No.
She gets a lot of referral cases.
Yeah.
She has quite a few.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's a good question. Who is defending? I think it's a PD so far. I don't know if I were attorney, would you want to take this case?
Cases like this drawn for a long, long time. Look at the situation with the Cal City boys, those two boys over there that disappeared.
Another failure. Absolute failure.
But that was not with Child Protective Services. That was family and whatever, the kids run away or whatever. That Child Protective Services probably never saw that case.
I thought they did.
Oh, I don't remember.
I thought when
but
they
I
were
don't
living,
follow. I didn't follow it that close.
I thought when they were living in Bakersfield that there were some investigations done. Because
But then
before
they
they
moved
moved
to-
out to California City.
That could have been.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I could be wrong about that too. So what do we do about DHS? You know, in that 2006 investigation, took them 9 months. And that's what I said yesterday, just what you said. I said, do you know what kind of mayhem could happen to children in 9 freaking months?
How long on a I'm not going to say it's a simple case, but it seems very simple and very small, very limited. We've never heard from the state attorney general on Zach yet.
Yeah.
How long has that been?
Yeah, over a year.
Over a year.
I just don't understand it. And I don't understand, one of the other things that Lawrence Skidmore pointed out is the caseload and this and that and this and that. Really, does it take that much effort to just go out and check these people's homes? It's 10 minutes, Michael. You walk in, let me see the child, let me examine his body, let me look in the refrigerator, let me see if you've got milk and bread and things necessary to feed this child. Let me go see if there's any filth or rodents or roaches, and boop, 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 and you're out. Hell, you could do 10 cases in a day. But I just think these people have gotten burnt out. They're lazy and they're sitting around their desk pushing paper and saying, well, this doesn't qualify for me to really go examine it. It's not, But how does the family of this child call and call and call and call and call, and nothing is done. And you must have heard some of the testimony. I don't know if you went to the Board of Soups meeting the other day, but you may have seen it on television, where the one kid said, me and my two sisters were removed and put to the Jameson Center when my mother tried to kill our grandmother. And 3 days later, we were back with my mother, who just tried to kill her mother. How? How does that happen?
We're going to find out the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say.
I hope so.
There is a story somewhere. Why? We'll find out.
You're good with self-analysis? That's another problem. I don't think they should be the ones that
No, that's
look
why
into
they're
this.
bringing out. The board said bring in somebody from the outside.
They are okay. I didn't know
No,
that.
they did that on Tuesday.
Okay, good. Congratulations, David Couch, Peterson, the rest of you. No,
Peters, not Peters.
Peters, excuse me, Peters. Gotta fly, sir.
You
Have a
always do.
wonderful weekend.
I will.
Gonna be tough. 108 tomorrow, 105 Saturday, 104 Sunday. Not a fun weekend.
Not a golf day.
I'm not. It's one of the few weekends where I'll be happy to stay in the house.
And keep your air conditioner running on high. All
No.
the time.
I'm an old man now. That's one of the benefits of being an old man. I don't get hot easily. What's your thermostat on? Mine's on 80. Got mine on 80. Love it.
Actually, yeah, 78.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, it used to be like 72.
Me too. When I was young, I said the same thing. When I was in my 30s and 40s, my thing was never over 74.
I have
never. But now I keep it at 80. And sometimes, like probably tonight and tomorrow night, you got to dip it down like 79, 78. But I love it. I'll be laying in bed, and just when I start to get hot, it kicks in. I'm like, okay, I can live with that.
That's right, Ralph.
That's right, Ralph. Always good to see you. Mike Turnipseed, not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. Daniel Pichu will join us after the second break. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, I keep mine at 80. Comfortable as hell.
Ours are at 78. But I can tell you, before we put our solar on, so it's been 5 years, we bought new air conditioners. You don't hear it, but the new ones put out so you can feel so much more air.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bigger units, and it's like 3-speed fan, So actually, it's variable speed. It can be 100%, or it can be, most time it runs like 26%.
And when I put it on 80, unless it's really, really hot, around 4 o'clock in the morning when I take my 4 a.m. bathroom run, I turn it off. And I don't turn it back on in the morning before I leave. I keep it off until I leave. I'm just wondering, though, should I put it on like 82, 80, 82, 83 when I leave? Because when I get home, it's 84, and I put it on 80, and it runs for like a half an hour straight.
When we go out of town, we shut them off.
Yeah.
And they'll come back in, and the temperatures like in the low 80s. So
It's
low
not bad.
80s to 78. We're pretty well. We check the insulation.
Like when I get home today, it'll be like 83, 84.
78 won't take very long to get down to that.
See, mine does.
Well, you got
at 84 to 80, it'll be on straight for like a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes till it gets to 80. But I'm
So your
miserable.
Dodgers swept the Padres.
And then we're sticking up, although we're kicking their behind right now. Colorado. Did you see how lucky we got last night?
I don't follow the Dodgers.
Shohei was pitching, and he took a line drive off his thigh, and it damn near hit his knee.
Well, if it hit his knee, he'd be in bad
Season's
shape.
over. Season's over.
He's lucky it hit his thigh.
I know. We
Muscle.
won 9-5. But the Padres, you guys will not help us because the Padres are killing. They beat you guys 8-4.
I think we're about 5-20 in the last 25
I know.
games.
I thought y'all were decent.
We're
They just
decent for
went
first.
in the tank.
They had injuries.
842-5376, 842-KERN. Daniel Petrie will join us in just a second. We might as well stay. I only got a minute.
Oh.
You're about to walk out with your microphone, so you might as well stay.
You don't need it for Petrie. He's not going to be here.
True that, but we need it tomorrow.
Oh.
Why'd you
Okay.
put it down your shirt?
I just hung it.
That's what
Actually,
I
I
do
hung
as
it.
well. I put it inside my shirt just so it
Well,
doesn't
you
appear.
can't see it from the camera angle. Here, see, look at that. They got me on a side view.
Yeah, true that. But I'm full on. Always good to see you, sir. Have a good weekend.
Fine, thank you.
Mike Turnipseed. Quick break. Step aside. Come right back with Daniel Petrie, our money man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. I would stick around if I you.
Your home viewers get to an extra 2-3 minutes of entertainment.
Yes, they do.
Take care, Ralphie.
Thank you.
No, Tom Nelson is a good guy. Old school.
Well, I got
Knows
referred.
everybody in town.
I got referred to. I got referred to Echeverry.
Which Itcheberry? There's 100 Itcheberries in town.
I don't know. He's good friends with Zucchini. He's probably like 50. They call him Jag. I don't know why. You don't know him?
I'm not a Bakersfield guy. I
What do
grew
you
up in
mean not a
Delano. I know a lot, but I don't. Yeah. It's like a name like Tom Smith, you know.
Echeverry?
The
Yeah.
Bass community. Half the Bass are Echeverries.
Yeah, true. True that. True that.
Just the realization.
We need to go to Wool Growers.
Yeah.
I
I
haven't
go
been
there for lunch.
I haven't been there in a long time. Last time I was Mike Try.
I get the soup and tomatoes for lunch.
I think I had a tuna fish sandwich there, and I was like, God, that was the best tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, I was there. People have that. They have their chicken's good. They have a good chicken sandwich, the grilled chicken.
Yeah.
I love their fried chicken.
Never had the fried chicken.
When I go to a Bass restaurant, no matter where I go, I get the Bass chicken with lots of garlic on it.
I had one of my best birthdays there. Back when I was kind of close with Gino. Gino, his wife, Chris Zucchini, Mike Arier, and Tonya all took me to dinner on my birthday, and I was dating. I can't remember who I was dating at the time.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How many girls have you dated in your life?
Like serious girlfriends? I've really,
No, just dating girls.
oh,
It's like driving cars.
dude, I've been single my whole life. I have no idea how many girls I've been with, but I've dated only like 6 serious women. Sheena Lester, my managing editor's daughter. My managing editor's daughter. That's how stupid I was in my 20s. Dating the managing editor's daughter. And he didn't like me. Not before I started dating his daughter, he didn't like me. And I dated her anyway.
Then you really.
I was such a stupid kid. And my mother did not raise me like this, but I knew he hated me. So I would always tell her to come downstairs. This was before cell phones. Come downstairs and meet me because I didn't want to go up and see Tim Lester. And then I dated Kim Williams.
Dating was talking to the dad.
No.
That's where you get the sales job done.
And he was kind of a gangster. So I was kind of afraid of him. He kept a gun in his office. I was scared to death of that dude. Kim Williams, Renee Massey, when I came up here, Monica, Lori, and Carla. Those are the 6. Oh, and Roxanne. 7 major girlfriends. And they all lasted about the same amount of time, 2-3 years. And that was it. Roxanne was the longest. I dated her for 4 years. And the only one that really, I mean, I wasn't hurt by Roxanne until later when I realized what a good woman I had. But Lori was the one that broke my heart.
The key is finding it, knowing what a good woman, what you're looking for in a good woman,
Well,
and then being it up front and not dragging things out.
Well, I found it in Lori, but she booted me literally 2 weeks after I was working here because her parents and grandparents did a intervention and told her that she had to stay with her husband until the kids graduated from high school. And she didn't even like her husband. He was a cop. He was a CHP guy who was a sergeant. He was out there on the out there at the Grapevine weighing trucks and shit. And she said he talked to her kids like they were a perp and just didn't like him. And she didn't respect the fact that the year before he was going to retire, he passed the captain's test just so he could go from like 150 to 180 on his pension. And yet she went back to him because her parents and because she had all four of her grandparents, and they did a total thing. And I think it was just because they found out she was dating a brother. But you know, that's my own thoughts. But she's the only one that really broke my heart. Broke my heart, Mike.
You wouldn't have been the first, Ralph.
Yeah, you're right about that.
If you're the only one, then it's something, but you're not. Take care, Ralphie. Talk to you next week.
Despite the unrecognizable music, it's a Thursday. Time to bring in. Chris didn't tell you everybody's theme songs, all the regular theme songs. Oh, Chris. But it's time to bring in our money man, Daniel Petrie from S. Maker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. How are you, Daniel? Is he not there? Did you call him? Chris didn't tell you to call. Oh, Lord. Hang on a second, y'all. You need to call this number, Dawson. Hang on. Please stand by. A, B, C, D, 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 D. Hang on. We got a couple hours. Just relax. Daniel Petrie. Okay, call this number. This 094. And that's for Daniel Petrie. And he should answer the phone. Chris Burdick not giving the replacement instructions. What's the matter with you? 842-5376, our phone number. If you got any questions for Daniel, feel free to jump in here. Coming up in the 5, we'll talk about the 6'4" biological male playing volleyball at a Illinois high school. Never played volleyball in his entire life, but he wants to play now. We'll get into that. And we'll get into the Skip Bayless lawsuit, the Fox lawsuit that apparently has been settled. I'll explain why there's some problems with the settlement. And talk a little Dodger baseball. They won today. The Dodgers split a 4-game series with the Colorado Rockies, which is ridiculous. Rockies, literally one of the worst teams in baseball. And turnip seeds, god-awful, stinky, smelly Giants gave us no help. They lost 8-4 to the Padres. So the Dodgers still possess a 1-game lead going into San Diego either tomorrow or Saturday. I assume it's tomorrow, actually. Probably a Friday, Saturday, Sunday 3-game series with Padres. Is he not answering? Don Kessler, please stand by. Hey, how mad are you right now? Ha, ha, ha. I love you, brother. We got to get out and swing the clubs. I'm not that mad about the Dodgers. I'm disappointed. I don't agree with a lot of what we're doing. I think we should shut down Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher. We got extremely lucky last night that he got hit on the thigh and not the knee. But we can get into that a little bit later because I think we have Daniel Petrie. Daniel, are you there?
I am here, Ralphie.
What's really going on?
Well, you're the one with the ear to the news. What's going on in the world?
Donald Trump. I think the most fascinating story of the day is that Donald Trump, probably as we speak, is on a ride-along with the cops throughout D.C.
I had heard he was going to do that.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant.
I do too. I think that's very smart.
It really is. It truly is. As long as he makes it out alive, good God Almighty. You know. Yeah. I've gone on 2 ride-alongs, and the one was boring. It was a bad night. Well, a good night because there was no crime. But the other one, I went with the man who would later become assistant chief, one of the nicest guys in the world. He was a sergeant at the time, Brian Lynn. Just a really good guy. It was me and Tommy, my photographer. And as a sergeant, you can go to anything. So we just kind of circled the thing, and then finally, gang pursuit, man, and blah, 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 blah. You guys, fellas, want to go to that? And we were like, hell yeah! And we got it, and we got into this field and chased this guy and watched these guys. And Tommy got, man, that was one of the best packages I'd ever done, just because of the photography, just of the action. We caught them catching the guy, and it was a really cool ride along. But I can't lie. I am a well-known coward. I was scared to death. I was like,
I mean, when I think of jobs that appeal to people, that would not be anywhere near the top of my list.
no, I'm a coward. I could not. I
try to avoid trouble.
Exactly. I run away from the sound of fire. I don't run to it. And I can't imagine what they do. I really, really can't.
And to be that, it seems like your adrenaline would be pumped the whole day, be exhausting.
Yeah. Emotionally, it is just a disaster. But
and I shoot 2 nights, and I'd probably be tainted and become some weird demon or something.
yeah.
Wouldn't be good.
And, the one thing that I learned from the 2 ride-alongs that I went on that I don't think people realize, because I think cops have a bad attitude. No offense to all the police officers out there, but it's to my point. We don't realize, we think that cops come in contact with good people and bad people. No, they really don't. All day long, they're dealing with indecent, lying. No, I don't have any drugs on me. Well, what's this? You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not like they run into me or you or decent human. Yeah. Every day that they work, they just deal with the lowest level of society and just human nature. You can't help but get kind of crusty and disbelieving. That's why I'm such a critic, because I was a reporter and I grew up not believing anything that anybody said until I could prove it. Yeah.
Amazing in itself.
Yeah, it really is.
I would not shoot one day on the job and I'd be like, can I go home?
Yeah. And I think I would shoot everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. It would either be, don't talk to me, you're shoot. Or do I have to go to this? Can I pass on this, this call?
Yeah. I don't
know. They deserve every penny they get in this stuff.
They really do. They truly do. So what is really going on? Good week for the economy so far, right? Am I wrong about that?
Hanging in there. It's interesting. I looked to see what's priced in, the Fed rate hike coming up. And usually, if the economy's doing well or inflation is down, and if inflation is still running high, they don't want to cut rates. If the economy is doing fine, they don't want to cut rates. But it's still priced in, but not as much. It has a 75% chance of occurring at the September meeting, and it most likely will be cut. But Powell speaks tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, so we'll get a hint. I think it's 7 a.m. our time.
Yeah, in Jackson Hole of all places.
Right. I think they do that every year.
Yeah, let me just read what I have. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is set to deliver what almost certainly will be his last keynote address at the central bank's annual conclave during one of the most tumultuous times in its history. What's at stake is the near-term sentiment for financial markets, the longer-term path of the Fed's policy trajectory, and a not insignificant dose of trying to preserve vestiges of independence at a time when the normally sacrosanct institution is facing enormous political pressure.
Yeah.
What's he going to say, Daniel?
Well, that's the key. I think it's going to be much more closely watched because of all the political garbage going on right now.
Yeah.
He'll do what he normally does. He'll talk out of both sides of his mouth, but I think he'll be. I don't know what he's going to say, but I really think they're going to cut in September.
I do too. because inflation is starting to tick up.
Whether he wants to hint at that or whether he wants to be much more poker faced is to be determined.
Yeah. I think he's going to try to play the poker face bit, but at some point, I think he's got to lower rates before his term is up.
There's just, well, and again, the Fed doesn't like, if the market's pricing in a cut and the Fed doesn't cut, then the market has to, you do a quick adjustment and it won't be very good. And very rarely, in fact, I don't know what the percentage is, but if it's this high of it being factored in, it almost always occurs.
Right.
So,
and inflation is starting to tick up a little bit. And is it accurate to say it's only going to get worse once now that the tariffs are starting to set in?
It's hard. There are a lot of intangibles there. How much of the tariff increase is actually occurring? How much will companies try to eat for a little while, because you don't want to, all of a sudden, if you're selling things and you raise prices quite a bit, people will say, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I do, but I'll wait a month.
What I've noticed is, at least in food, and particularly fast food, prices are coming down. The fast food chains have gotten smart and are doing these cheap packages, where you can get burger, fries, and thing for this, and any combination for $5.75. I mean, is that not accurate to say?
I think that's very accurate.
Yeah.
Just anecdotally, I've gone to those places and I think I'll pay less if I get more.
Right. Yeah.
You try to itemize it and say, no, I don't need all the extra. I just want a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. But if you get the meal with the fries and the drink, it's actually cheaper than just getting.
Like, okay, well, charge me for all three and give me one. I mean, or give it to the guy behind you, make his day.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Okay. How is the deficit doing? Another $29 billion. Come on, Daniel. How does this happen? How does it not fluctuate even a little bit?
And I've gotten so much, I look at this now so much more closely than I used to. I mean, I used to check in on it, but now I look daily to see, okay, how much has it done? What is the average it's done for the day? If I multiply that out 7 days, where will we be? And until we get to about Wednesday, it's almost more. You're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be at 29.3, even more.
Right.
As we get closer to Thursday, the rate of increase slows down, and we darn near end up, just where I anticipated, a little over 29 billion.
Yeah.
And that seems bizarrely fast.
It really is. It truly is.
Some of it makes sense. Like, okay, well, the debt, the money they borrow has a certain rate, and they have to pay that, and I get all that, but you would still think there'd be wild fluctuations in, somebody pays their taxes early, or
Right.
or somebody pays them late, or something weird happens. But this has been maniacally monotonous.
Yeah.
It's bad, but I can't believe it is so regularly bad.
Yeah. I have a personal question.
Awesome.
How can I bring down my taxes? What can I write off?
Well, you have to talk to your CPA about that, but one good way to lower your taxable income is increase the amount you put into your 401k.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But that lessens my check, and my check has been lessened.
Well, then you have to go to, well, how much do I have?
Yeah. We had a big increase in our insurance this year, and I took a big hit because I have the highest PPO I could get because of my health. And it took a chunk out of my check, boy. It really did.
It's amazing how much much you pay if you're not itemized, like, and then you start actually looking at all the line items, it's a lot.
It is. It really is. And I can see it, the impact.
Absolutely.
How is...
Obviously, if you're bringing home less, you'll have less in tax.
Yeah, true that. True that. I paid a ton for me, I thought, because like I've told you, I've never, up until 2 years ago when I started doing some extra work, I always take a lot out of my check, which everybody says is stupid, but I enjoyed getting that $1,500 check in February and that $500 check from state. And now 2 years ago I had to pay, and this year I had to pay close to $2,000.
It doesn't help your financial acumen if you get money back because you're giving them an interest-free loan.
Yeah, yeah. I had lunch with my ex-girlfriend who makes a significant amount of money than I do, and I told her how much I had to pay, and she looked at me like, please, you have no idea.
Well, did you make strides in her becoming a current girlfriend? She makes good money, Ralph.
No, well, why I was trying to marry her. That's what broke us up. She don't want to get married. I'm no fool.
Well, if you try again, maybe go a little slower.
Yeah. I think we're going to a wedding together, though. Yeah. And she took me out for my birthday. What's that?
I mean, going to a wedding together.
No.
When I was a young man, that seemed like a big step.
No, it's just a big party. Good friend of mine, Robbie Pratt, getting married again. Congratulations, Robbie. And I'm pretty sure she's going with me. I don't know. We'll see. But out of the loop. I love weddings. Absolutely love weddings. I think they're the funnest party you can go to. Well, in the South, funerals are fun. I'll never forget the first funeral I went to, my grandfather's funeral. And after the funeral, yes, they were all at my grandmother's house. And I'm in my grandparents' bedroom crying. And my mother's like, what is wrong with you? I thought you got past it. And I'm like, why are they out there partying? Granddad just died. And they're getting their grub on and drinking and partying. And she's like, that's the culture, Ralph. We're celebrating his life, not his death. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, particularly in the South. The South is a different world. It really is. If you've never been.
I appreciate Midwestern roots, so somewhat similar.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but
That's the only part of the country I really have never visited.
Midwest?
Yeah. I was recently in St. Louis. I guess technically I've been to Kansas because our plane stopped in Wichita, but I haven't been. I was in Nebraska for a couple of days for a job interview, but I've never really been in the center of the country that much. Is that right? Yeah. I've been to Tulsa.
There you go.
Wasn't thrilled.
No, it's pretty mundane, boring.
Yeah.
That area. I mean.
Yeah.
And we're spoiled in California.
A little bit, just a little bit, and just to show Gavin Newsom's leadership, people are leaving. I heard Kevin McCarthy predict that we're going to lose 4 seats in 2030. Wow. Because people are leaving. Bed Bath & Beyond just announced they're getting the hell out of here. The In-N-Out franchise is moving to Tennessee. We're not only running people out of California, we're running businesses out of the state of California. It's amazing. It's crazy. Thank you, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, and nothing changed. I mean, it seems like the other side of the political spectrum just likes to double down.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Always good to talk to you, sir. I'm running late as all get. Oh, by the way, I don't know how this happened, but I just got your birthday card today. And I don't think it was the mail. I think because I'm Ralph Bailey, big dummy. And I leave all the coupons and paper stuff in my mailbox that I don't want in my apartment because it'll end up on the floor somewhere. And so the little card, it was just a little card like an invitation. I don't think I saw it. And I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And it was a really nice birthday card. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome, and I forgive you for letting.
All right, very good. All right, stay cool this weekend. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Not a whole, just a little bit, just a couple days. Yeah, we really have. It's been a great summer, actually.
Anytime we're in August and it's under triple digits is a win.
Absolutely. Have a good weekend. Talk to you next Thursday. All right, man. Take care. Daniel Petrie with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. His phone number 395-9400, 395-9400. As I said, running late. Not a lot of time before we get to the 5. It's TRBS on a Thursday. Right here on Newstalk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN.
Trying to take the power back from an independent council so he can redistrict the California line. Matter of fact, he's so confident that he's ready to put it before the voters. He keeps saying, "Don't poke the bear." Only you're not the bear, Gavin. We are the voters. And we'll have the final say. And you, sir, will have egg on your face.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Hey everybody, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey from Adaptive Network. You know, it's funny or coincidental that I'm talking to you about Adaptive Network because they literally just left our studios. That's right. We've teamed up with Adaptive Network because they are the best in town when it comes to IT. And, you know, the biggest mistake companies make with their IT is not having a plan. Like I talked about, as a radio station, when our IT goes down, we hear nothing. So we can't just wait and say, "Oh, well, we'll call our IT guy the very next day." We have to have a plan, disaster recovery, security policies, and compliance that all often get ignored. And they also talk about antivirus.
Any other guests or anything I should?
No, we're good.
He doesn't tell me anything.
Huh?
He doesn't tell me anything.
I know. I can't believe he didn't give you the phone numbers. Are you doing it tomorrow? JR is doing it?
It's on sale at America Ceramics. Looking for kitchen countertops? It's on sale at America Ceramics. How about shower tile? Yep, that's on sale too at America Ceramics. At America Ceramics, everything you need to transform your space is marked down for the summer. From sleek stone surfaces to bold backsplash tiles. They have it, and it's all on sale. Bring your big ideas to America Ceramics at 4000 Fruitvale Avenue. Or visit AmericaCeramics.com to get started. But don't wait. Styles and savings are going fast. And this summer sale won't last forever. America Ceramics at 4000 Fruitvale Avenue. Or visit AmericaCeramics.com to get started.
With America Ceramics, do it natural soul. Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Mark your calendars, Saturday, October 11th for the 6th annual Bakersfield Brunch Fest at the Kern County Fairgrounds. Your all-inclusive ticket gets you access to an assortment of brunch bites, paired with bubbles and mimosas, beer, wine, cocktails, and spiked seltzers too. Bakersfield Brunch Fest is brought to you by Mango Cart. There are a limited number of early bird tickets at a major discount on sale now. Go to BakersfieldBrunchFest.com. Secure your spot for a brunch experience you'll never forget. Bakersfield, you can brunch with us.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Still no news on the Eric Menendez parole hearing. I was told or read that this thing would be done by today, that in fact, not only would the hearing be completed, but a decision on Eric and therefore Lyle. Lyle's hearing is tomorrow. Now that it really matters, if Turnipseed's right about anything, because he thinks this is, first thing he said is, aren't people tired of talking about this? I was like, no, they really aren't. But it really comes down to Gavin Newsom. Even if they say yes, Newsom, like he did with Sirhan, could say no. And again, I think he wants to be the tough guy, and I think he is going to say no. We head into the final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Don't go anywhere.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is declaring victory after an appeals court threw out the massive civil fraud penalty against him.
President Donald Trump declared total victory on Thursday after a New York appeals court threw out a massive civil fraud judgment against him. Now, the court narrowly endorsed a lower court position that Trump exaggerated his net worth, exaggerated the value of his assets, including Trump Tower and his golf courses. However, the 5-judge panel in the state's appellate division ruled that the fine, the penalty, which ballooned with interest to $515 million, that was excessive. They knocked the amount down to zero.
Correspondent Michael Isaac reporting. The president says the case and the verdict were political moves by Democrats. A former top aide to New York City Mayor Eric Adams is among 7 people facing new charges in an ongoing corruption case. Correspondent Haya Panjwani reports.
Adams' former chief of staff and closest confidant, Ingrid Lewis Martin, is one of 7 people facing new charges in the corruption investigation that has swirled around City Hall for 2 years. Adams himself has not been charged, but the case will thrust the corruption allegations that have dogged the Democrat back into focus while he runs for re-election. Others facing charges include Lewis Martin's son, Glenn D. Martin, former state senator Jesse Hamilton, and 2 of Adams' political donors, siblings Tony and Gina Argento. I'm Hannah Panjwani.
Dr. James Dobson, a child psychologist who founded the conservative ministry Focus on the Family and was a politically influential campaigner for pro-life and pro-family causes, has died at the age of 89. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 152 points, the NASDAQ dropped 72. More at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocate is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A Caltrans worker was injured in a hit and run, and the suspect has been arrested. At around 12:45 Wednesday afternoon, CHP answered the call about the hit and run crash on Highway 178 near Canebrake Road. Investigators say a signage truck was escorting westbound traffic through the area. A 2021 Ford Ranger passed all traffic, including the signage truck, and struck the worker. After speaking with the victim, the driver drove off. Joshua Michael Thomas of Kernville was later arrested and booked into the Laredo jail.
Hey, Dawson.
Seized an illegal gaming machine at around 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. Deputies from the Kern Valley substation executed a search warrant in the
How do you guys do this? Just clip it right here
as part of a
and then
continuing
close it?
investigation of illegal gambling. KCSO says that they found the illegal fish table gaming system while searching the property in Wolford
He
Heights.
doesn't strain the
Several
morning?
people have been arrested on weapons
Wow.
charges in Rosamond. Before noon on Tuesday, a burglary was reported at the Dollar General on Rosamond Boulevard.
Neither do I.
Suspects who
I just work
reportedly stole
frickin',
$144 worth of laundry detergent were found at a
Can
home
you guys
on Diamond
hear
Street. 3 men
the audio?
arrested after guns, including AK-47s, were found. The recent decision by the Bakersfield
No.
City Council to
No.
rename H Street in honor of the late Cesar Chavez has some celebrating, others expressing concern. 3 members of
Anybody in
the
the
council,
chat room?
Zach
Can you guys
Basher
hear
Tash, Ken Weir, and
the
Larry
news?
Coleman, voted against the change. Councilman Basher Tash said they need
Okay,
to
good.
find a
Thank
way
you.
to make this work without hurting local businesses. He highlighted their concerns, including inconvenience to employees and delivery errors due to outdated maps. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Let bing! You blow their brains all over your nice side release.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday, 21st day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. And we stream live at kernradio.com. Let me answer some questions in the chat room. Those who subscribe on YouTube and actually watch the broadcast, I have to unravel the mic so I can stretch it a little bit. I guess I could just do it like that, big dummy. Let's see. Lisa Baker writes, so Ralph, should they have waited until the dad was in the act of being raped by their dad? Lisa, that's a horrendously written sentence, but we'll ignore that. Do some research on sexual abuse of a parent. Okay. My point is, I understand being under the guise of your dad at 11 or 12, but once you're 19 and 21, you are, for the most part, a grown-ass man. You're about to move out of the house. You're about to graduate from college. You could go to war. And I try to put myself in their position. What if my father was black-hearted and had been sleeping with me and had this thing? I'm just telling you, it'd be on like Donkey Kong. There's no way at the age of 19 to 21, I'd just be like, okay. I would fight my father. I would absolutely fight my father. And I would think most men would. Dawson, would you concur with that? As much as you love your dad, it'd be on like DK, Jack. I'm sorry. And at 19, 21, it'd be a good fight. My dad was 41 when I was 20 years older than I am. It'd be a good fight. Because I've told you, the only time my father and I got physical, and we did get physical, I am 19, just turning 19. It's the summer of 19. I'm about to go into my junior year, and I have my very first real serious girlfriend, Rhonda Lynn Killens, who lives in Silver Spring, Maryland. And over the first Christmas break, the phone bill was like $450. And it was mostly Los Angeles to Silver Spring, Maryland, where we would literally be on the phone for hours. And one of the first things my dad said when I came home that summer was, there'll be no long distance phone calls. Ain't happening. And I said, all right. And of course, I would go up and sneak and call Rhonda. And one night, he found me behind the bar. We had this really cool bar in our living room. And obviously, it was the way the bar is set up. If you're behind the bar and you're down on the ground, you can't be seen. So I'm sitting there, and he comes in and he pulls the plug. Doesn't hang up the phone. He just pulls the wire. And I don't like to tell this story, so I'm not going to give you details, but there were words. And then I went to put the phone back in. He grabs my arm, and I grabbed his arm. And we were kind of tussling. And he grabs me by my belt and slammed me on the ground. And I was like, and my dad was like, like I said, he's probably like 40, 39, 40. And my dad wasn't a big man. He was about 5'9", 5'10", but he was stocky. And he had what they used to call country strength, where he didn't look that strong. But I'd see him do things. I'd be like, damn, I didn't think Dad could carry that. And I did not think at 190 pounds, who I was, he could slam me to the ground, but he did. And I was like, all right, so what? No more phone calls. That's about as bad as it gets. But I just got to believe that if that happened, if he was sexually abusing me, I would go to one of my uncles. Why did they never speak to any of their relatives about this? You know, I just, and I think it's different for a woman. I dated a girl whose uncle was having sex with her, and she went to a parent. She went to her mother, and her mother said, don't talk about this. It'll tear up the family. I believe it was her father's brother. And they were a big Latino family that did a lot of things together. And the mother just said, stay away from him. Don't ever be alone with him, but do not say a thing. So I understand some of the dynamics of incest, essentially, but I find it hard to believe that, particularly given the other facts. They destroyed the will. It was premeditated. I just don't understand how anybody can defend two people that killed their parents. They didn't just kill somebody randomly, they killed their parents. And as I have said and will always say till the day I die, if there's any goodness, any redeeming traits or qualities in Ralph Emerson Bailey Jr., they came directly from Charles Bailey, Sadie Bailey, Charlotte Dolly, and Philip Dolly. And then it was passed down to Ralph Sr. and Harriet. It's where I get almost all my self-esteem, particularly when I was a kid, when I was transitioning from public school to private school, and I'm sitting next to Michael Landon's daughter and Clark Gable's kids in the back of the room. Tony Griffin, Merv Griffin's son, is sitting in the front of the room. And I'm telling you, there were doubts. I can't hang with these kids. 3 months ago, I was going to Stowers Elementary in Cerritos. And I just bared down and I said, well, my dad's a smart guy. My mother's a brilliant woman. Some of that had to have rubbed off on me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't understand not having a relationship with your father or being intimidated by your father or having your father sexually abuse you. But I do know there's no way in the world I would put up with it. And I don't think there's any teenager at that age that would put up with it. Not a male. Not a male. I just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. And what caused all the controversy was this Netflix documentary that brought out the fact that supposedly one of the kids from Menudo who were friends with the boys claimed that Jose had molested him. And there's some report of a letter that Eric sent 8 months before the murder chronicling what was going on, but there's no proof that that thing was written 8 months before, or that wasn't part of the whole premeditated murder. Let's create some evidence that this guy is destroying us and give us a reason to kill him. But that's not what they said. They didn't say we killed him because we were afraid that he was going to kill us. They set it up as a mafioso hit. They lied. They still lie. Like I said earlier, they're still insisting that it was self-defense, that Kitty was going to kill them, that their mother was going to kill them. That's their defense. And you think they should get let go? Or that I'm somehow ignorant, and as she's suggesting that I should research incest? There's no research here. Were you not listening to the first part of the program? How these guys traveled down to San Diego to buy these shotguns, how they shot them in their knees, and then put the barrel of a shotgun in the face of their mother? And the most amazing thing isn't this woman who thinks I'm giving them a hard time, but it's the family. I don't understand how in the world the family is supporting their release. And the only one, Kitty's brother, who was dead set against it, recently passed away. So there were a slew of parents or family members that went and spoke for Eric today. But again, I just checked and there's no report on the panel's decision. If you guys get hip, or Dawson, if you see anything, let me know. But Lyle will go tomorrow. Lyle's is moot. It doesn't matter worth a damn, because whatever they determine for Eric will apply to Lyle. That's at least what all the pundits are saying. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into this case in Illinois. 6'4" biological male who had never played volleyball in his life made the girls' volleyball team, meaning, by definition, some young girl at Conant High School in Illinois will not play volleyball because a boy made the ball club. And the remaining members of the volleyball team will have to dress in front of a man and take a shower in front of a man. As my grandmother used to say, just don't make no sense. Just don't make no sense. Quick break. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
Have you guys been down California Avenue lately between Real Road and Stockdale? My goodness, the construction is an absolute mess. You can't get in and out of businesses during certain times. It rotates. Nobody is notifying anybody about when roads are going to be open. The city has dropped the ball on this. Seriously, it took me 15 minutes just to get home from work. I live right across the street. I could have walked home faster. And the worst part is, it's going to last till the end of October.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Hope you join us every Thursday, particularly at 4:30, when Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. Daniel gives us a weekly update on the deficit and its growth. We look at silver and gold, and obviously the stock market and all kind of economic issues that most importantly impact you. But again, you guys know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. I keep telling you guys, it's one of the smartest moves that I've ever made financially. Call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400 if retirement is in your near future. Or just tune in Thursdays at 4:30 when he joins us every week. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-690-6464. That's 800-690-6464. Again, that's 800-690-6464.
King Door Company continues to set the standard in the garage door industry, and I'm here to tell you a few of the reasons why. First off, King Door carries Clopay garage panels and LiftMaster openers, so you're guaranteed quality and reliability well beyond the reach of most garage door companies, and it just gets better from there. King Door has a fleet of fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and tools to handle any job quickly and efficiently, and those trucks are manned by the most knowledgeable technicians anywhere. They have all the technical expertise imaginable and the most up-to-the-minute training available. In fact, King Door is so committed to training that they have the King Door Academy, a full-size, state-of-the-art classroom right on the premises with all the latest teaching aids, including working garage doors to simulate any installation, repair, or technique. Your garage door is a very important part of the safety, security, and look of your home, so don't trust it to anyone but King Door Company. Call them today at 397-2744, stop by the showroom at 7450 District Boulevard, or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, your company with the pride of a lion.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Father, we don't need to escalate. See, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate.
Were you guys with us yesterday when I broke down the LA Times article on the death of Marvin Gaye Jr.? I don't know if this was news to you. It certainly was to me. That's why I brought it to the attention of the show. But according to an LA Times article, Marvin Gaye Jr. set up his own death. It was suicide by dad. His father was an old school pastor who, and as again I talked about yesterday, culturally, my grandfather literally would say things like, you know, so old Cosby made it popular because he made it part of his routine, what his dad would say to him. But that's culturally accurate in the Black community. The phrase, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And that was clear. And one of the things that I didn't know about Marvin Gaye's death is that the .38 revolver that his father shot him with, Marvin gave to his dad when he moved in. And this is 1984, so a lot of you weren't even alive or remember it, but he had a horrendous cocaine problem. That's why he moved back in with his parents down in the Crenshaw district, a really nice area of the Crenshaw district, and made it clear, his dad made it clear that if there was any problems that he'd shoot him. And according to his brother, and I don't know why his brother would lie about this, but his brother was apparently the first one to come to his aid when he was shot, and he hadn't died yet. And the brother, Frankie, claimed, and I had it, I don't know, I'm not going to reach for it, but he said something to the effect that Marvin said, I couldn't do it myself. I had him do it, or something like that. Because, again, and I thought I followed it closely back then. I probably didn't because I was 20-something years, I was 21 years old. But one of the reasons that the dad never did jail time was because they examined his body and Marvin Jr. had beat the hell out of him, kicked him. He had huge black bruises all over his body. Plus, he had a brain tumor at the time, and the judge went easy on him. And he never did jail time for the death of his son. But I always thought that was fascinating. Because when guys get strung out on cocaine, you're in a different world. You're in a different world. You're paranoid. Not that I know on a first-term basis. I did cocaine in college, but thank God, because of my personality, I hated it. Hated it. Made me weird and quiet and paranoid. I just didn't like it. Just never got into it. But back in the 80s, when I was going to high school and college, as I've always said, after 10th grade, I never went to a high school party where cocaine was not present. That's how prevalent it was. It really was. And then in the mid 80s, crack came along. And that just devastated the ghettos of America because it was cheaper. And it was actually a better high, apparently. But I had a couple of friends that got caught up. My roommate, Jake Daniel Gunn, great guy. One of the best human beings I ever met. And like Frank Sinatra blames Joey Lewis for his drinking, I always blame Danny for my drinking. He turned me on to Jack Daniels. And I've always told the story. He's literally from, where's Jack Daniels made? Lynchburg, Tennessee, or wherever it's from. He's literally from that town. And his father wanted to name him Jack Daniel Gunn. And the mom was like, no. So he named him Jake Daniel Gunn. But just one of the funniest, coolest cats in the world. But Danny liked his yayo. He liked doing a couple lines every now and again. He never smoked it, but I could hear him in his bedroom before class and stuff in the morning. I was just like, ooh, dude. And he died of a heart attack at 44. No surprise. And just one of the greatest guys in the world. I thought one of the funniest things he ever did, he was the funniest guy in the world. We're coming back from somewhere. It's me, him, and Rhonda's in the back seat, my girlfriend. And he's driving like a maniac and he's drunk as hell. And this is in the 80s where police really didn't police drunk driving as the way they do today. And I said, Danny, you really should let me drive. And he's like, hey, shut up. And he's driving, he's breaking the speed limit, and he's just going, and he's drunk as hell. And he's like, and I'm just berating him. Just let me drive. Just let me drive. So he finally says, all right. And he pulls over. I get out of the car, and he speeds off. And leaves me standing on the road as he drives off with my girlfriend in the back seat. And literally, I sat there I was like, okay, very funny. Very funny. Danny. And he waited like 10 minutes before he came back, to the point where I literally started walking. And he comes back, and I'll never forget, Rhonda and I got into a huge fight because when they finally came back, the both of them were just, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? You're supposed to be my woman. You're supposed to be berating him. Don't leave my boyfriend on the side of the road. And she's like, okay. You should have seen your face. But that ain't funny. That ain't funny. All right, real quick. I've told you mostly about this throughout the whole show. It's just got heads exploding. And again, it's a Democratic thing where the Democrats are on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. This kid is 6'4". He had never played volleyball in his life. So what do you think motivated him to play? There's only one thing that could have motivated him to play, and that is, I'm 6'4". I'm a biological male. I will dominate. I will absolutely dominate. And he will. And he will. As one girl goes home and doesn't make the club. And let us not forget about Peyton McNabb, the young volleyball player who to this very day, is suffering from permanent, hence the term, brain damage because a biological male spiked the ball, hit her in the face. She still has permanent brain damage. And we haven't even brought up the fact that this large man is going to be walking around, swinging around, if you know what I'm talking about, in a ladies' locker room or girls' locker room. That's just not right. And they are so wrong on this issue. And if you want to be fair, then create transgender sports. That's all you have to do. You know, the Kennedys grew up with an impaired child. And I think her name was Rosemary, one of the older Kennedy kids. And she was not completely incapacitated, and she was a really good athlete. The issue was she would have outbursts, and Jack was getting into politics, and Joe Kennedy wrongfully, secretly had her take a lobotomy so they could just. And she died an old woman in a home. But that's what created the Kennedy family, based on their daughter, who was not all there, but still a good athlete, the Special Olympics, a category that is specific for them, that will allow them to participate, and they won't have a disadvantage or an advantage on children that are not impaired. That's what you want to do then. If they want to participate, create transgender sports. It's that simple. Final half hour of the broadcast on this Thursday. It's TRBS. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. False reports of active shooters have led to panic and temporary lockdowns at Villanova University and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. In Pennsylvania, someone called 911 at about 4:30 p.m. reporting an active shooter in a Villanova Law School building with at least one wounded victim. But the school's president later said it was a cruel hoax. In Chattanooga, the unfounded report came in about 4 hours earlier. Hurricane Aaron is starting to churn up big waves along the northeast coast after pelting North Carolina's Outer Banks with strong winds and swells that flooded a few places on the barrier islands. The unusually large hurricane slowly began to move away from the east coast on Thursday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 152 points. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A Caltrans worker was injured in a hit and run, and the suspect has been arrested. At around 12:45 Wednesday afternoon, CHP answered the call about the hit and run crash on Highway 178 near Canebrake Road. Investigators say a signage truck was escorting westbound traffic through the area when a 2021 Ford Ranger passed all traffic, including the signage truck, and struck the worker. A 2021 Ford Ranger passed all traffic and struck the worker. Joshua Michael Thomas of Kernville was later caught and arrested. Several people have been arrested on weapons charges in Rosamond. Suspects who reportedly stole $144 worth of laundry detergent were found and arrested at a home on Diamond Street. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, people often think dental implants are a one-size-fits-all solution. How is Affordable Dentures and Implants different than that?
That's a great question. We know every patient is unique and each person has their own specific needs. So we create a personalized treatment plan designed just for them.
Wow. And what makes your process stand apart from the other places?
Well, we offer advanced digital dentistry, which let us design and create custom solutions. And with our on-site lab, we can offer same-day teeth for many patients. No waiting for weeks for your new smile.
Same-day teeth? Now that's impressive.
If you're ready to get started on your new smile today, go see Dr. Tarkesh and his amazing team at Affordable Dentures and Implants on the corner of Truxton and Coffee, next to Nothing But Cake. Call 831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile. I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/styleupgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/styleupgrade.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Cocaine. At least you pay attention to the show. I'm not sure Chris pays attention to the show. The thing about cocaine is, I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could lie to you. It's a little fun. As drugs are, that's obviously the draw. That's the scary thing with young people. It seems so fun until it becomes a habit. And then it gets ugly. Like I said, my roommate died at 44. In fact, I told you I'm the kiss of death. I've had 3 different college roommates die young. J.R. Flores, J.R. Myers, my sophomore year roommate, died recently. He was about 61, 62. My sophomore year, because I had to move out because JR was pledging Kappa Alpha Psi and I couldn't handle the rent by myself. So I moved in with Dr. Phil Sadler, a really good friend of mine, who's a dentist up in Oakland. Really good guy who has the greatest picture of all time. Greatest picture of all time. Phil, and I'm not sure I knew this when we were roommates, or maybe I didn't believe him, but his godfather was Willie Mays. No joke. He spoke at Candlestick or at Qualcomm when they had the huge memorial, and he grew up, he was friends with Barry. And he has a picture at the President's Cup at Olympic Club years ago. He is flanked by his godfather, Mr. Mays, arguably the greatest baseball player who ever lived, and the greatest golfer who ever lived. Jack Nicklaus is Tiger Woods. He's flanked by Tiger Woods and Willie Mays. I mean, that is the greatest. I gotta give him to send that to me because I think I used to have it and just show it to you guys. It's unbelievable. But lived with Phil. We had a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. It was me, Phil, and Conrad Carey. And the crazy thing about Conrad Carey is that he was the straightest kid in the world. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. He did nothing. And yet at 40, lawyer, living in Los Angeles, found slumped over his steering wheel with a crack pipe at his feet. Never did any kind. I mean, we used to give him a hard time about, what are you, a Mormon? You don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do anything. And yet, I guess sometime later in life, he got caught on that nonsense and found him in his Jaguar somewhere in a parking lot, slumped over his steering wheel with the pipe at his feet. It ain't funny. It's a weird, weird drug. What do you got on the board? Anything? 842-5376, our phone number, 842-KERN.
Ralph, I spoke to Lyle Menendez a few times. He was the janitor in one of the housing units I had to make rounds in. Anyway, when I asked if he had any regrets for killing his mother, he said no. If you don't express remorse, you couldn't be paroled. Of course, that was about 20 plus years ago.
Wow. That's one of the more interesting text messages we've ever received. You spoke to that guy and he said no. God, you should have ran. You should have taped that conversation. Should have ran to the warden. Get that on record. No, they have no remorse. They have absolutely no remorse. And even if, okay, let's assume that they were molested. That doesn't give you the right to kill people. And then why did they kill Kitty in such a vicious manner? Why did they get rid of the will? How did they spend $700,000 inside of a year? There was no remorse. If it's me and my parents got whacked in their bedroom, I'd have moved. I couldn't live in that house. The nightmares of somebody breaking into our home and shooting our parents. And if I truly believed that it was a mafioso hit, hell, maybe we're next. But no, absolutely premeditated. They lied through their teeth. Oh, it's because we were molested and they were going to kill us. Kitty wasn't going to kill them. Let's assume Jose might have wanted to take out his own boys, despite the huge amounts of money he was spending on sending them to college, tennis lessons, vehicles that he bought for them. Why you invest that kind of money in your child and then you're going to whack them? Makes no sense. It's the most ridiculous. They should have pled temporary insanity. But to claim that it was self-defense, that you were John Gotti, that you had to kill Paul Castellano before Paul Castellano killed you is stupid. And I didn't believe that either. I think Gotti just wanted Castellano out the way. Excuse me for digressing, but I'm in the middle of watching. I DVR'd Mobsters. You guys ever watch Mobsters? And I'm getting all the dope. I love the life of the mafia. I'm so intrigued by that life and how these guys do it, why they do it. It just must be a great life for a while. But how you enter into a life where you pretty much know you're either going to die or end up in jail, prison. You know what I mean? Very few. Carlo Gambino was one that died an old man in his home. There are a couple that make it. Frankie Avalon, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but he got out. But 9 times out of 10, you're murdered or end up in prison. That's why I thought the Sopranos ending was so disappointing. Because if they really wanted to make it real, Tony should have got whacked or should have been sent to prison. But I think they were counting on doing what they did, and that's making a movie. And I don't think it would have been a prequel had James Gandolfini lived a long life. It's funny the movies you see him in that you don't realize, because he was a nobody before Sopranos, that he was in. Like, for example, have you ever seen Crimson Tide with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington, where Denzel is the first officer and Gene Hackman is kind of a hard-nosed captain, and there's a situation with the Soviets and somebody else, and they get a message that the Soviets are on the verge of sending their missiles, and halfway through the message it gets stopped, and they don't know really what the end of the message is, but Hackman thinks it's a message to start bombing, and there's a fight between them because Denzel says no. Well, Gandolfini plays one of the officers in that. Don't know why I said that. Who you got?
I got Jerry for you with a good story about the mafia.
Jerry, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, my late friend, my best friend, he just passed away at about 71. Anyways, he got married to Joe Bonanno's great niece.
Really?
Yeah, they got married at Lakeside Country Club.
Where is that?
That's up in Burbank, up.
Oh, Lakeside. Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Kind of near Toluca Lake?
Yeah, Toluca Lake.
Okay.
And so there was so anyway, Joe came and there was one table and it was all guys. It was like looking at a movie.
Joe Bonanno was there?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, and all of his henchmen were there. There was about 7 or 8 guys on each side of the table.
So this must have been like early 70s.
Oh yeah, it was way back. Yeah, and so he got married, and then he married. His dad was my friend's dad was the chief brain surgeon at chief of staff at St. Joseph's Medical Center. So there was a lot of money involved. It was great. So I was in the wedding party, and I went up and started talking to Joe, and I was telling him jokes and stuff. And my friend Dave, he came over to him and he said, "It's okay, he's with me," because I was like one joke away from swimming with the fishes. I was at the wedding party, I was all dressed up. Yeah.
That is funny. All right, man.
Good story.
That is a good story. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Joe Bonanno was the head of Bonanno family, and he was the guy that broke all the rules because you're supposed to be kind of, in the back. You don't make a lot of noise. You don't make a lot of media attention. And he went on this fierce campaign. His whole thing was black folks have the NAACP and the Jewish people have their group. The Italians should have their group because we're not in the mafia. The mafia doesn't exist. And we're being maligned and blah, 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 blah. And he had this huge rally, and he was assassinated by a young black guy who was hired by Crazy Joe. God dang it. I can't remember. But anyway, he was assassinated at this thing, held on for a couple of days. But his most significant contribution was they heard about the production of The Godfather. And he went to Francis Ford Coppola and he said, there will be no mention of the word mafia. And Coppola was like, okay. And if you go back and watch The Godfather, the word mafia never, the only time it comes up is when Michael is testifying and he said, I'm insulted that I have to defend my name, insinuating that I'm part of La Cosa Nostra or mafia or whatever you want to call it. I'm just a family businessman. That's the only time that word is brought up. And much to the delight of Francis Ford Coppola, gangsters loved The Godfather because it gave a separate look at their family life, and they weren't just murderers and killers, although they're just murderers and killers. And I think that was the key to the success of The Sopranos. Because I've seen a really deep interview with Francis Ford Coppola, and Coppola didn't want to do the film. He absolutely didn't want to do the film. He was in business with George Lucas, and Lucas told him, dude, they're gonna turn the lights out on us. Just do this, because he wanted to do The Conversation, a really good movie with Gene Hackman that he directed and produced. And that's the film he wanted to do, but he didn't have the money. And so he just did Godfather for the check. Didn't think it was going to be that good. Then he got into a huge fight with the production, with the producers, because they didn't like any of the cast. They wanted Sonny, they wanted James Caan to play the Michael character. They didn't want Al Pacino in the film at all. And they wanted somebody like Robert Redford or Ryan O'Neal to play the Sonny character. And their logic was Northern Italy, Northern Italians are blonde, blue-eyed. And they are. I think of Verna Lisa, who is an unbelievably beautiful actress of the 60s. But they can be blonde and blue-eyed, and that was their logic. And Coppola was like, no, I want them to look Sicilian, and he fought and maintained and got them to get. And another great Godfather story is Luca Brasi was played by a professional wrestler. The guy, I forget who it was, but they had somebody set for that role, and he died. So they didn't know what to do, and they got this wrestler who had never acted before, Okay? So you remember the scene where Michael and Kay are eating lasagna at the wedding, and Luca Brasi is waiting to talk to the Godfather, and he's like rehearsing what he's going to say to Don Corleone? That actually was live. I forget the gentleman's name, but he was there practicing his lines. That wasn't like Francis going, okay, action. He was just sitting there practicing his lines, and Francis was like, come on, get this. And he's like, Godfather, I hope they have a masculine child. And he just shot it and played it as real to show how nervous and intimidated this gargantuan man was of the Don. And that was not in the script, not in the film. Coppola just shot it. Thought you'd be interested in that a little bit. No. Final break of the night. When we come back, I'll tell you about the suit between Skip Bayless and a hairstylist who insists, why doesn't Burdick do stuff like this? You should teach Burdick how to produce a radio broadcast. That's pretty good stuff, Dawson. I love this song. I really do. Skip Bayless allegedly offered a hairstylist $1.5 million to have sex with him. Ladies, come on, chime in either on the chat room or through a text, 842-5376. You turned down $1.5 million to have sex with a man? I just can't see it. Like $100,000? No way. That's not life-changing. You'd blow that in a year or two. But $1.5 million? I'd take the $500,000, I'd put the $1 million in the bank and live off the interest and put it in my rearview mirror as a moral error. Ask God's forgiveness and move on with my $1 million. Just me. Quick break. We're coming right back. Wrap this thing up. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Friday. Yay! Thank you, Jesus. An extremely hot Friday, but Friday nevertheless. And our guest, Rick Bentley, our Channel 17 entertainment reporter. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show.
So the city council moved forward the idea of renaming South 8th Street to Abonado, Avocado, that Cesar Chavez. I don't know, whatever. Look, it's not the name that bothers me. It could have been Cesar Chavez. It could have been Martin Luther King Jr. It could have been Buck Owens. It does not matter. At a time like this, when we don't have the money, how are we going to spend, from what I'm told, over $1 million to do a street name change? It's just not the right time to do it.
The JR Show. Weekdays at 2 p.m.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's that time again for the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Now through September 2nd, get incredible offers on 2025 Subarus. And if you've been thinking about an EV, the 2024 Solterra is a great choice. First, it's a Subaru. Same quality, safety, and technology you expect from a Subaru. Plus, it's the only EV that comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And now, through September 2nd, lease a 2025 Solterra for just $259 a month for 36 months and zero due at signing. That's right, absolutely nothing at signing. It's an incredible offer on Subaru EV. So don't miss the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now at Sangera Subaru, 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Auto Mall. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community.
2025 Subaru Solterra Premium SST Model SCD-11 with MSRP $41,181, 36 monthly lease payments of $259 per month plus tax, $0 security deposit, $0 plus registration and title, first payment, and $85 doc fee due at inception. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 15 cents per mile over. Available to qualified buyers through Subaru Motor Finance with Tier 1 SCA on approved credit, price about $92.25. VIN number SA104648.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by tax relief advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147, or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Cotton Patch Quilters of Kern County present an afternoon fundraising event under the Sea Auction, Saturday, October 11th, beginning at 11 a.m. at the Women's Club of Bakersfield. For over 40 years, the local guild has been supplying quilts, pillowcases, teddy bears, and dog beds to Kern County veterans, neonatal intensive care units, at-risk kids, shelters, and fire victims. There will be handmade donation quilts sold through live and silent auctions, a boutique of handmade items, raffle baskets, door prizes, and other surprise happenings. A professional auctioneer will lead the auction, and lunch will be catered by Mossman's. The Under the Sea auction is being custom crafted by members and will showcase over 40 heirloom quality quilts. Tickets for the event are $65 and available at the She Shed by the Peachy Pig, 1518 19th Street, or online at CPQ's website, cottonpatchquiltguild.org, prior to the event. No tickets will be sold at the door, advanced to sales only.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It seems that I was busy doing something close to nothing, but different from the day before. That's when I saw her. Ooh, I saw her. She walked in through the outdoor. She wore a raspberry beret. And in a secondhand store, a raspberry beret. If it was lost, she wouldn't wear it no more. A raspberry beret. I think I love her. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's clear the board and get the Samuel out of here.
All right, Ralph.
Yes.
I'm anxious to hear how you put a positive spin on Putin making a, quote, complete fool out of Trump by hitting a U.S. factory in the Ukraine.
I don't know if he made it. What would you suggest? Just let it go, not discuss peace with the invader? We're as close to peace as we've ever been, and we're not that close. But it's certainly more than what Weekend at Bernie's did. Don't. Even Vladimir Putin has admitted that if Donald Trump had been the president, this war would have never started. I don't understand how you guys can blame Trump for talking to Putin. Like, that's a bad thing? In the middle of a war to talk to the players, to try to set up a trilateral meeting to get them all in the room to stop the killing? Don't you understand, you Democrats are just on the wrong side of just about every issue? You're fighting people that are trying to fight crime in D.C. You're fighting the dismissal of illegal immigrants. You're fighting biological men playing with girls. You're here in California going to break the Constitution just to show what a big bad guy our governor is. And you're against any effort to stop this war? He didn't make a chump out of Donald Trump. He's killing Ukrainians. Why are you making this political? He is a warmonger, a murderer. You think he did that to show up Trump? He's trying to gobble up as much of Ukraine as he can before peace inevitably gets settled, which I think it will. There's no way you can lose 1 million men garnering 20% of the country. Think about the numbers that it would take for him to get all the way to Kyiv, to take the rest of the 80% of that country. Think about the massive number of men that would die. But you want to criticize the president for sitting down with the players and trying to get them all in a room. Are you criticizing the European leaders who came to America to discuss this, to talk about security guarantees and what to do after the fact? How you guys want to fight people who want to fight crime, fight people who want to stop wars, fight people who want to stop invaders from infiltrating our country. You're just on the wrong side. And it's all about your obsession with DJT. Anything he does is wrong, even if it's fighting his ass off to gain peace. I got to get out of here. For Dawson Pitcher, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at
Do you know how to do the promos? Do you know how to do the promos?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't have to do them,
I mean, I know how to record them.
but you don't know how to put them in?
No.
Then screw it. All right. We can go a day without it. You did a nice job. You really did.
Thanks.
No problem. And tell Scott to call you Dawson. Mom and Daddy gave you that damn name. Your name ain't Billy.
Nah, he told me my name was too cool and that he wouldn't be using it. Was his? It sounds like a little bit of a little BS to me, but
It's too cool. It is a cool name. I've never met a Dawson. I've never met a Dawson. I really haven't. Len Dawson, who you have no idea who he is. No idea who Len Dawson is. Nope. Wow. Kansas City Chief, Super Bowl quarterback. They won the 4th Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Long before you were born.
A little before.
Yeah. I was a little kid.
Plains, about 35 miles northeast of Denver. I'm Haya Panjwani.
One of the most influential Christian conservatives of the past half century, Dr. James Dobson, has died at the age of 89. He was a champion of traditional family values in many ways.
In addition to his influential evangelical Christian broadcasting and pastoral ministries, Dr. Dobson wrote more than 70 books dedicated to the preservation of the family. His best-known works include Dare to Discipline, The Strong-Willed Child, Bringing Up Boys, Bringing Up Girls, and When God Doesn't Make Sense.
Correspondent George Williams. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 152 points, the NASDAQ dropping 72, the S&P lower by 25. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account.
Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.
Your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me, they calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life